All right, so before we begin this, all right, I don't want anyone to come in here mad and angry and ridiculous and nonsensical. All right, I don't want y'all females coming in here just reporting it and hating. I want to open a dialogue and have a real discussion about this because I think it's important. And I want to say that I don't hate women. I know a lot of people think I do. And you have to understand that like 98% of what you see on streams with me talking to females is complete bullshit. All right. Like when I argue with Tema or me and Kadunt go at it, understand something. When the stream's over and everybody else is left, it's usually like me and Tema or me and Kadunt hanging out. And we'll talk for like 2 hours just about nonsense. Right? We'll talk about like the most ridiculous shit. You know what I mean? Just like, we'll just talk about like regular life and what's going on with like relationships with each of us and what, the kids is getting into. And you have to understand that like afterwards, both of them usually go, thank you, I needed that. Right? They need somebody like just to take their motherfucking aggression out on. And you know what I mean? Like, and I know how to turn it in a proper manner to make it entertaining and to keep it interesting. And so with that being said, I want you to understand, like, I don't hate females in any way, shape, or form. I have 2 daughters, and I also have a mom and a sister, right? And I have a little sister who, since I was born, I was told that it's my responsibility to lay down my life if need be for her, and I took that shit real fucking serious. All right, I did time in jail. I did time in cuffs. I put motherfuckers in the hospital. And I put my life on the line for her, and she did so for me as well. All right, when them motherfuckers came for me, she brought out the shovel and hit a nigga in the face for me. So get nothing misunderstood. And that goes as well for guys like TFM and DDJ and all these individuals you hear speak. Believe me, we love women. All right, we love them. Get nothing misunderstood. All right, we've all like been in relationships and tried to make things work. And most of the time it doesn't work for the same goddamn reason over and over and over again. It's because of females. Now, I'm going to say like, we have all parts to play in things. You know what I mean? Like, we're arrogant, cocky, you know what I'm saying? Some of us cheat like me, whatever. But the reality is, okay? The reality is that we're not educating, we're not teaching, and we're lying and telling people falsehoods, right? We're standing here having a conversation with people and telling them over and over again that the life they're living is wrong. And I stand here, and especially like once you have kids and you're in a family, and this is the reason why like family units are breaking down. So as a dad, you look at a female and you go like, why do you have such a problem raising the fucking kids and doing the fucking housework? Like you have this in your head because as a dude, like legitimately most of us have no problem with doing any of this. Like I had like 7 months off for a layoff one time. Like I had both my fucking kids all day, every fucking day, made breakfast, lunch, dinner, changed diapers, like the whole 9, right? Cleaned the fucking house. Did all the shit we were supposed to do, did fucking laundry, took the kids out, went fishing, and it was like the best time of my life. I would do that every day the rest of my life. If I could just like live in the fucking mountains and hunt and fish the rest of my days, I would fucking do it. Without a question, I would fucking take my kids and we would just go do nothing but hunting and hiking and fishing and camping, and that's all we would do ever. All right, like and that would be the most amazing life for me. But unfortunately, I have to fucking work because this world, money makes the world go round, and you can't survive without fucking money. It is what it is. And you look at a female and you go like, why are you so fucking miserable? Like you're not working, you're not doing shit, you don't want to clean, you sit on your ass all fucking day. Like, why are you so fucking miserable? They're like, oh, well, we have to raise the kids and clean the house and cook. And then you got to put lingerie on and be sexy for our husbands later on. And you don't never feel sexy. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is all about you. This has nothing to do with any of the rest of us. Because this is always the conversation that comes up. And just like the authority thing I brought up the other day. Like, how are you going to say a man has authority over a woman? And like the bitches is like, if you said, would you trust your man? You know what I'm saying? Like, because these females are in long-term hard relationships. You know what I'm saying? They're married with children. And if you said, would you trust your man to stop you from doing something ridiculous? And she would go, abso-fucking-lutely. Because that's her fucking man. And the bitches is like, yo, they think their men are like one in a million. The reality is most men are great individuals. Like 99.9% of dudes are great individuals. It's just females don't understand that coming up through and getting into relationships, you end up in a situation where you're standing here still growing as a person. And you think that dudes are changing, right? Or you think that like this dude's different from the last dude. The reality is he's probably the same as the last one. It's just you've adjusted your motif. You've learned. And you don't realize this. Like my ex-wife, for instance, right? Became monstrously miserable, right? When she fucking, because she was 19 when I married her. We were 20. She was 25 when we got divorced, right? And I was 25 when I married her. I was 30 when I got divorced. So as she's hitting that, first part of the wall where like, the female's no longer like a child anymore. She's maturing mentally. She doesn't understand that she matured over that year so much that when she got with a new dude and she got in that relationship, she was a fully mature adult. And she changed. She thinks that the fucking dude's different than me, right? He's more of a bitch, but he's not any real difference to me. You know what I mean? He's not a different person, really, when it comes down to it. He's the same type of gutter motherfucker that I am. Like, I'm way more of a soldier. But the reality is, we're basically the same individual. Like, I make more money. I have the ability to stand here and go harder. I'm more intelligent than him, right? But, when it comes down to, like, throwing down and handling our business and, like, how we're going to react to situations, we're the same fucking person. We're even the same motherfucking race when it really comes down to it. So the thing is that she didn't really change. Or the dude didn't change. She changed. She became more of a mature individual, more happy individual, more well-rounded person. And so when you're standing here and you look at females in a relationship, you're standing here talking about relationships, and you go, well, dudes really haven't changed. Like, I had a female last night, she said, fucking, you guys are fucking Neanderthals. I'm like, yeah, because you have to be a fucking Neanderthal. Like, that's what the hell we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be savages. We're supposed to be happy with dumb shit and trivial stuff. That way, we're content in a long-term relationship. That's what makes this work. Because we're stable and you're out of your fucking mind most of the goddamn time. So, when you stand here and you look at this and you go, well, what's really the fucking problem? The problem's females' mentalities. We have to start talking to our females in a proper manner and having this conversation and going, yo, look, it's a blessing raising kids, not a curse. All right? There's nothing more beautiful than a woman holding a baby. And she goes, there's nothing more, like a female, I told a female this last night, she's like, there's nothing more beautiful than a man holding a baby. I said, I fucking feel you. With you. Got you. Nothing more beautiful than a baby. No more miracle in the motherfucking world. Legitimately. You know what I mean? You want proof of God. You look right in the eyes of your motherfucking kid one time. You're just like, shit, man. I don't know how the fuck I did this. You know what I mean? Like, you can have all the fucking scientists in the world tell you some biology shit. And you're like, yo, it is what it is. Right? Because it's an emotional thing. Right? It's something that you feel. It's not a mental thing. You know what I mean? It's not some mental gymnastic nonsense, oxytocin shit. You know what I mean? You can stand here and explain somebody the blue in their fucking face. Like, yo, that feeling will floor you. It's kind of like when you get in a jet and you do like, Mach 3 and shit, and like fuck somebody's racking you just what? Right? And you're going through all this crazy shit. And like the scientists can tell you about shit and tell you how it's gonna feel and be specific. But the reality is until you feel that fucking feeling, you have no fucking idea what it's like. Right? And it's a beautiful thing. And the responsibility is a beautiful thing. And having a family is a beautiful thing. And females need to understand that the best thing they can ever do in the world is that. And it's not a bad thing. That's not terrible. That's not an awful thing. Legitimately. Like, and I know, like, They've been told forever that they should, you know what I mean, stand here and rise above, you know, and sit here and have all this feminist, retarded nonsense. The reality is, the best thing anyone can ever do to move society forward. I mean, like, yeah, there's lots of men who invent things, and I got you. And that's amazing technological advancements that may save thousands of lives. But without those lives to save, there's nothing there. A king is nothing without his people. You know what I mean? And that's really what the situation boils down to. And that's what makes every man and every woman a special individual. Because your ability to stand here and move things forward and add to society, not just with your work and your effort and your abilities, but with the possibility of what your children will offer. And that is of the utmost importance. And that's beautiful. Like, a female's work is nothing. Nothing. Going to work and earning a paycheck is nothing compared to that. There's no greater gift a woman can give a man than a fucking child. And there's no greater gift a man can give a woman than a fucking child. All the Ferraris in the world won't replace that. It is what it is. And yeah, there's gonna be like times where it's tough when your baby's sitting there crying and I mean, it's colicky and it don't know what it wants, teething, he's sitting there, you know. But honestly, like, that moment it shuts the fuck up and falls asleep on your chest, and you just sitting there and it's just and it breaks you the fuck inside. As a person, as a human being, it breaks your insides. It makes you into a better person. It makes you want to be a better person. And that's important. And for females to stand here and go, oh, I have to do all this stuff. Like, no, you get to. You get to do all this stuff. You get to have this more than the father does, because he has to go out and earn. And I think this is how we should be explaining it. Because all the logic in the world, all the economics in the world, it don't make, you know what I mean, a lick of goddamn difference. And if you really want to have this conversation and come at it from a proper point, we should start really where it starts, at the very basics of it. Your mentalities have to change. And you have to have that ability to let your mentalities change. Yo, I'm Tom Pays with Pinoy News. Y'all know the situation. Peace be like one. Later.